look how he uses that spanner to turn that nut. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth, and this is the special Myth edition. Peak oil, a myth. How can I say this? There are so many untapped resources of oil around the world that if they were all pumping oil right now, would vastly increase the supply. So anybody who says that supply has peaked has got to be full of crap. They find more oil and more oil deposits all the time. And therefore, the supply is still there. I know the theory of peak oil. It says that the oil that's available now in the ground is of lesser quality and harder to extract. But it does not call into account the general availability thereof. I don't believe in peak oil. In fact, I think there is sufficient evidence to call into question the biological origin of oil in the first place. There is a lot of speculation in some quarters about oil being abiotic, a natural product of earth changes or something that happens within the inner earth that produces this. I don't know all the details of it, but it's an intriguing theory nonetheless. Peak oil is a myth. You have freedom is a myth. You have the illusion of freedom. In this country, you probably have the best illusion of freedom anywhere in the world today. But in fact, you have no freedom, because there are things you must do every day in order to survive. There are things you must do, and if there are always things you must do, you truly have no freedom. You're not being spied upon. That's a myth. Cameras are going up more and more everywhere. We're going to resemble the UK before too long. Warrantless wiretaps, email searches, computer scans, every other probing aspect of the government is right in your face every day. We don't live in a police state. Once again, a myth. The police everywhere are becoming indistinguishable from the armed forces. The Posse Comitatus Act has been shredded along with the Constitution by this and previous administrations. Pretty soon, your local police officers will be battle-dressed, machine gun-toting, armor-wearing soldiers. So it's a myth that we don't live in a police state. Globalism is not a serious issue. That's a myth. What does globalism represent in its most basic form? The end of nationalism. That means the end of your country as you know it. The end of everything that your country represents and everything that your country means to you, because your nation will not exist. So globalism is not a serious issue, it is a myth. Elections really matter. I need point you only to 2000 and 2004 to show you that this is not the case. Whoever is supposed to get into office gets into office. If it just so happens that the people, the majority of the people, vote for that particular candidate, then so be it. But if votes need to be changed and rigged, we've seen it before, haven't we? Elections really matter. Another point. Whoever gets into office has to toe the line. It's simple as that. And Anybody who expects real change from any candidate is full of shit and needs to get their head examined. Elections really matter. A myth. Elites don't control things from behind the scenes. This is also a myth. In their various venues and guises, the super rich, the giant multinational corporations, and all of their cronies, the super high heads of state, those people behind the scenes, meet in their various times and places, and they have agendas. And they decide how things are going to be run. Whether you're talking about the Bilderberg Group, the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, whatever you want to talk about, any of these groups, you can name any one of them, they're all the same. Policy is made and things are enacted in order to bring those policies to fruition, which means that the elites don't control things from behind the scenes is a myth. Conspiracies are nonsense. Oswald killed JFK all by himself. Sirhan Sirhan killed RFK all by himself. And 9/11 has been completely and totally explained by the United States government. Conspiracies are bunk. But we know this is not true. Anybody who studied the JFK assassination could find 5,000 holes in the original theory of that case that Oswald acted alone. Same goes for Sirhan Sirhan and the RFK assassination. The possibility of mind control, another so-called conspiracy theory. And as for 9/11, well, one need only look further on YouTube to find countless video and arguments to be made against the official government version of what happened on that day. So, conspiracies are nonsense? A fucking myth. The North American Union is bunk. Another fucking myth. Yes, we don't have that yet. Once the financial aspects of this union have been settled through treaty and through mutual cooperation agreements and all of those neat and tidy little things, then the political process will start. It may be a few years away, but it's coming, and it will be unstoppable. The North American Union is bunk. That's a myth. The NWO, likewise, is a hoax. The New World Order is a hoax. That is a myth. The New World Order is real. It's happening every day. The same elites that control things behind the scenes are the ones that are bringing it about. The same super rich, the same multinational giant corporations, the same heads of state are all pushing in that same direction. So the New World Order is a hoax. Is a hoax. Gas prices are controlled by supply and demand, and there is no collusion or price fixing. This is a big fucking myth. Congress has studied this issue several times and come to the conclusion every time that there is no price fixing and there is no collusion amongst the oil companies to fix the price of gas. But I say they're full of shit. Gas prices are controlled by supply and demand. A myth. Global warming. A myth. Man causes global warming. A myth. There is sufficient evidence to call into question the idea of global warming for thousands of scientists to deny its reality. Not only that, there is evidence to indicate that we are entering a cold phase or a mini ice age. So I say global warming is a myth. And man-made global warming is an even bigger myth. Free trade is free and good is a myth. Free trade does nothing but destroy this country. and is not a good thing. Every time we lower the playing field from our high standards to the lower standards of whatever country we are getting into the agreement with. Free trade is free and a good thing is a myth. Check them all out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Do some research. See if you agree with me. If you do, good. If you don't, good. At least you're doing something. Thank you. Good night.